Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today, we're diving into Judge Middleton's courtroom, where he finally dubs all these sovereign citizens with a unique new name, Borgoves. Let's get into it.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you Kirk Edwin Jensen?
Yes, I have documents in here that I just filed with the clerk, and I need to submit them here.
Is that this thing called non-statutory abatement?
That's it.
All right, I got it. I provided a copy to Miss Davis. It's entitled Kirk Edwin Jensen, Reign Citizen, Reign of Heavens, a set apart place for that address. Non-statutory abatement.
Non-statutory abatement. Now, that's a new one. I'll give him credit. After hearing the same old nonsense from sovereign citizens, it's refreshing to get a new flavor of lead paint. Unfortunately, a non-statutory abatement only exists in his imagination, and Judge Middleton isn't buying into his delusions.
File number 23660ST, charges operating with no license. Charge 23661, charged with operating with no license in your possession. I don't think you can be convicted of both of those, as I said at our arraignment. And then the third count is a civil infraction, no proof of insurance, could probably be charged as no insurance, but it was charged as a civil infraction.
I have the proof of that here,
May I see it? All right, that's the person that owned the car.
Correct. Yep.
All right. Let Debbie see that. All right. We had kind of a chase our tails around at the time of the arraignment. You are, what do you wish to be, a Reign citizen?
That I have a social compact and a body politic, which gives the authority for the credentials that I had when I had given them to Mr. Brooks at the time.
When you say your credentials, are you referring to that first place ribbon from the crayon eating contest? Or the fake driver's license and passport you handed to the police as ID?
And
The officer that wrote the ticket.
right. You had said that you were going to try to get those from him and see them for yourself.
Yeah, I don't know whether Miss Davis got that or not.
We did get additional information from the agency in Detroit regarding passports, and they confirmed that they are fraudulent. So if this doesn't get resolved today with the plea as charged to these misdemeanors, then we will be amending to have felony charges.
And just like that, your brilliant idea to forge a homemade passport is about to come back and bite you hard. That is, unless you take the deal and plead to the misdemeanors today. But if there's one thing we've learned about sovereign citizens, it's that they'd rather charge head first into a felony conviction than admit they were wrong and take a far less damaging outcome.
People call themselves different things. The common vernacular term had become sovereign citizen.
And I do not claim that in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
I rebut that. I completely rebut that statement.
All right. Well, I tried to think of a term for it.
Well,
just a minute.
Okay.
Let me get my thoughts together here. We had a guy, Mr. Aiken, a couple of weeks ago, and we went round and round with him, and he wanted a jury trial, and he didn't show up, and then he was found in contempt, and he went to jail. And I said, well, how about willfully misinformed defendant? That's too cumbersome, or willfully ignorant defendant. And then I was laying in bed between then and now, and I thought, follow me here, Mimsy were the borough groves. It's like, what the heck does that mean? It's from the poem Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. It was written in the 1800s. It's a nonsense poem that doesn't mean anything. And more importantly, there was a science fiction story written maybe during the war called Mimsy Were the Borough Groves. it's a very interesting story about some toys that were sent from the future back to here. It's pretty relevant right now with cell phones. And the third line is Mimsy were the Boro Groves. And what is a Boro Grove? It doesn't make any sense. So my term for these people that come in with this kind of nonsensical jabberwocky is going to be Boro Groves. So this is Boro Grove. It doesn't mean anything, and neither do your plea.
Judge Middleton is out here serving up the ponytail of justice, and, after hearing him pronounce Borogoves correctly, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole and found a couple of interesting things. First, in Through the Looking Glass, after Alice reads the poem Jabberwocky, she says her head is full of ideas, only she doesn't know what they are. Ironically, that's exactly how I feel every time I watch a sovereign citizen try to argue in court. Second, Humpty Dumpty later describes a Borogov as looking like a live mop, which really makes you wonder, how did Lewis Carroll perfectly describe a 21st century sovereign citizen back in the 1800s?
This non-statutory abatement and all this stuff about self-claimed contracts and Exhibit B and C has no lawful effect. So the question I have here is, do you wish to have a trial on these matters, or do you wish to enter a plea to this?
So does the body politic and social compact, is that being disregarded?
Correct.
Okay, then I'll go with the trial.
All right, then I will. Do you want to have an attorney to assist you?
No.
All right, you sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. The prosecutor is going to charge you with some sort of felony charge. What charge did you have in mind, Ms. Davis?
I believe that Prosecutor Morgan looked it up, and it was fraudulent documentation, basically manufacturing fraudulent passport and a fraudulent license.
We talked about Conch Republic passports. Whatever you had, and this false passport and some claim that somehow you had an international driver's license. You have to have a driver's license from somewhere to have an international driver's license. And this isn't it.
Mm-hmm. And I had that too. I have that too, yes.
All right, well.
One last question. The documents that were taken by Mr. Brooks, I want to make sure that those are entered in as evidence.
You can't make this up. Are you seriously asking for your fake passport and fake driver's license, the very evidence that proves you committed this felony, to be included at your trial? Most defendants would fight to have that thrown out, but since you're representing yourself, you've got a fool for a client.
When the time comes.
Do you have those, Deborah?
I do not have physical possession of them. As all evidence, it's held by the sheriff's department and the evidence lockers. So certainly we would introduce those as exhibits.
All right. Well, you're always polite enough, but you're.
I stand
this.
firm.
Well, the problem with this is insidiously dangerous. People decide on their own that the rules don't apply to them. And even though they're polite and respectful, you're yanking my chain, and this is a waste of our court's time and Miss Davis's time.
I intend to prove that these things are correct.
All right, maybe you do, but they aren't. This stuff is meaningless. And if everybody decided like you that they don't need a driver's license, they don't participate in our social contract, and they wish to use our public roadways and our streetlights and our court system, but hey, it doesn't apply to me, things would break down. The rule of law would cease to exist. So it's polite, but it's insidious and it's dangerous. What's next? I don't have the social contact, so I can punch somebody in the nose. I can kill somebody. I can sell drugs. The rules don't apply to me because I'm a RAIN citizen. Well, it don't work that way, at least not here in Michigan or in St. Joe County. Same rules apply to you that apply to everybody else. and you're gonna get charged with a felony document fraud case. Do you want a bench trial or a jury trial?
Jury.
Yeah, the same thing. It's hypocritical. The rules don't apply to you, but you don't mind bringing in 30 of your citizens to come in and
It's
hear
gonna be
this
just
stuff.
me. It's just gonna be just me.
I really enjoy watching Judge Middleton. He's a no-nonsense kind of judge. He clearly explained why the defendant was in the wrong, why he gets frustrated with so-called sovereign citizens, and exactly what consequences the defendant is facing.
I'm gonna set for a jury trial. Mimsy, we're the Borough Groves. That's what this amounts to. 'Twas brilling on their slithy ties. It's a bunch of nonsense. And so, Mr. Borough, I will see you on August 16th at 8:30.
Your Honor, just to clarify a few things in anticipation of that. As far as service, Mr. Jensen, will you accept service at the email that you have on this non-statutory abatement?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so just wanted the clarification that I'm going to send a witness list to him, make sure that he has the supplemental report from.
Yeah, there is
Detective
one thing
Steers.
that it does have some merit in here. He asked for discovery. So yes, your request for discovery is honored, and the prosecution will provide all discovery.